Okay, so I'm looking at this trade now. It's on the Euro USD, the 1 hour chart. It's the 4th of May. We have our multi-time frame moving average. It's set to 1 day. And these are Heiken Ashi candles. So they're not your normal candles, they are Heiken Ashi. So you can see their Heiken Ashi properties. So I didn't manage to record this trade. Basically, here was my take profit, there was my stop loss. It broke the body and the candle, the wick just about broke here. So the trade got to just over 40 pips in profit. I had a stop loss of 35 pips. So when it got up here, I set to break even, and it promptly came down and stopped me out. So I didn't lose anything, but I didn't really make anything either. So then it came down, and I thought it was going to dip under and stay under the moving average, but it hasn't. So just here we see a candle with a wick slightly higher than the one next to it. Now, ideally, I like to see the candle that I'm setting my level to. I generally like to see the body bigger than the previous one. So you see here, this is where the previous trade I took, the body of the candle was bigger than the next one. But in this case, it's not quite the same. Well, I suppose it is actually. The body is bigger, but it doesn't engulf this one quite. Nevertheless, I'm quite happy with this. If it was to break this level, I want to see not just the wick break this level, but the body of the candle break and close above this level, in which case I would take the trade. Now, just assuming that price breaks and it maybe closes here, we are looking at between 400 to 450, sorry, a 40 to 45 pip stop loss. My maximum is 50 pips. So let's just say it's a 45 pip stop loss. I would be looking for a 90 pip take profit, which would be somewhere up here. So, of course, we don't know what the markets are going to do. So I'm recording this now, and I will update what happens later. Just for your information, if price comes down and goes below where I would have put my stop loss before coming up and breaking, I won't take the trade. If price comes below here, I won't take the trade. I will look for another setup. Even if price then comes back up and breaks this level, it won't be a valid trade for me. That's how I trade this strategy. However, if price doesn't come below here and instead closes and breaks above this level, I'll be looking to buy the Euro USD on the 1 hour chart. It's probably quite interesting to say, here's my levels. If I remove these Heiken Ashi candles and just put it to normal candles, you see how price went above and closed above this level. But for me, because I was on the Heiken Ashi candles, that wasn't a valid trade. And look what would have happened. Immediately the price would have gone against me. And if I had a very tight stop loss, it would have obviously stopped me out. So can you see how Heiken Ashi candles look quite different to traditional kind of Japanese candlesticks? This was not a trade for me. However, with the Heiken Ashi candles, there's a potential setup. So I just wanted to show you the difference. I'll record what happens over the next 24 hours or so and give you a nice update. Okay, so where this arrow is here was where I ended my last video on this potential trade setup. What we was looking for is price to break above this line and close not just the wick but the body itself of the candle. Now that hasn't happened. However, it hasn't broken the bottom line either. So on first glance you might think, well, this trade is still a valid buy if it breaks this line up here. However, something has changed. Price is now below our multi-time framed moving average, which means we are only looking for a sell. So this trade now is no longer valid. Instead, we have this setup here, where this candle has got a wick longer than the previous one. The body is bigger than the candle afterwards as well. However, it doesn't fully engulf it, a bit like this setup here. It doesn't fully engulf the body of the candle, but we might even get a setup here where the wick and the body is longer than the next one. I'm tempted to leave this here now. If price was to break and close below this line, we could now sell the market. If the candle closed around here, we would be looking at a solid 500, a 50 pip stop loss, which is my maximum. So a stop loss would be around about here. If price goes back above this line, it won't be a valid sell. So I'm going to remove this little arrow. I'm going to insert a new arrow pointing down, and this is the candle we're on. We're looking for a sell now because price is below our multi-time frame moving average, and this is the level that we're looking for price to break and close below. So suddenly we're not looking to buy the market on the Euro USD 1 hour chart. We're actually looking to sell the market now. So let's see, I will update you shortly. So another very quick update. We're now Thursday the 6th of May 2021. In the previous clip you noticed that I was drawing a level here because price had dropped below our multi-time frame moving average, and I was looking for it to break structure here. I'd put my level here because this was a longer candle than this one and a bigger body than this one. But price never came down, never even touched it, certainly didn't break it. And then overnight, it broke up. Now, I saw this and in anticipation drew a line here because this candle is bigger than this one and higher than this one. So here's our level. Now, at this point here, price isn't quite above the moving average. However, it does two things at the same time. It breaks the level on this candle here, and it not only breaks it, but it closes above with not just the wick above the level, but the body as well. And at the same time, price breaks and closes above the multi-time frame moving average. And because it's above the moving average, we're looking to buy. Now unfortunately this candle didn't break and the body didn't close above the level or the multi-time frame moving average. If it had, we would already be some, nearly 40 pips in profit. But that didn't happen. So instead it closed here. Now the problem I've got is that it's a full 50 pip stop loss. And I was umming and ahhing about it. But it does meet all the criteria. It went 20 pips in profit. Now, the way I trade, and if you've been watching my videos, you will know this. The way I trade is that when it hits a 1-to-1 ratio, I set to break even. So, trade was opened here. We're looking for 50 pips before we break even. So if I move this up here, maybe just a little bit higher, that is roughly where the break even is. If price gets up to here, we will move our stop loss to break even, and then we will set our take profit at 100 pips, which is literally right the way up here, which is will be quite some trade. So we've got our break even here, our stop loss here, and our take profit here at 2-to-1 ratio on the 1 hour Euro USD chart. So if you've missed this trade, which you probably have, because I don't have hundreds and thousands of followers, but if you've missed this trade, what I would suggest is wait for a pullback. Your level would now be here, because this is a bigger candle than this one and a bigger body. This would be a great level. If price came down to around this area, a little pullback happened and then came and broke this level here, that would be fantastic. You could enter the market. It would still match the strategy that we've got in place. So and then of course your stop loss would be below the pullback, and away you go. So I hope that this video gives you just a brief insight into how I trade using the Heiken Ashi candles and a multi-time frame moving average. Literally nothing else than that, apart from of course some kind of market structure where we're realizing that we're now in a downtrend or an uptrend, hence we're buying or selling. Okay, so I did say that I wouldn't update this video at the end, but I can't resist just showing you. So this is the final bit of update, because as you can see it's hit the take profit. Here was my break-even level. So basically this was the trade entry, this was the level that we was looking at because of these candles here. It broke the level and closed above, and so this was the entrance of the trade. The stop loss was 50 pips, the break even was 50 pips in profit, and the take profit was a full 100 pips. So that's what happened. The trade came up. It literally barely went into negative, but over the space of 48 hours, it's now Friday, the 7th of May 2021, and it hit the take profit earlier this morning. So a really nice trade, 2-to-1 ratio trade. So in the last 2 weeks, we've had 2 100 pip trades successful and 1 break-even trade that was successful. I did mention earlier that if you had have missed this entrance here, you could have quite easily plotted the level here, because I mentioned about a pullback. Here is your pullback, here is your level, and when it broke, you would have entered the market here, which is actually my break even, but you would have entered it here. You'd have set your stop loss at 50 pips just below this pullback, and your take profit would still be 100 pips, and currently you would be nearly 85 pips in profit already. So quite an amazing trade, even if you'd have entered in a situation that I would call late, but there's still an opportunity here at this level that you could have taken, and you would literally be making nearly the same amount of pippage as I've made over the last 2 days. And you'd have made it literally in 1 day. So there's so many opportunities with this strategy. So I'm hoping that you're finding it really interesting. So because of the 2-to-1 ratio, it means that our profits are nice and healthy, and any losses we incur will be tiny compared to the profits that we've taken over the last 2 weeks. So I hope this trade, or the way that I trade, is simple for you. You can see that it's profitable, but of course I'll continue making these videos because there will be times when it takes losses, and I'll be completely transparent when that happens. But hopefully you can see that this is another nice trade, and if you're interested in using these 2 indicators, the multi-time frame moving average and the Heiken Ashi candles, then these MT4 indicators are available on my website, and the link is in the description below. So see you next time.